Just a quick tidbit for those who actually don't understand what happens when things are about to happen, or when you've got something when you have something that animals are afraid of or fearful. Felines are actually one of the first ones to freak out. Why? Because felines are actually more connected. Dogs are more connected than the felines, but the dogs remain calm until last minute. Felines freak the hell out immediately. It just proved itself with my cat. My dog is literally calm. My cat is not. My cat is ready to fight. My cat is ready to freaking attack. My dog is trying to figure things out rather than justifying their behavior with fear. So the next time you want to sit there and say, for any reason, if you have pets, if you have an animal, whether you have a dog or a cat or whatnot, the cat is going to react based off of what the cat feels and doesn't understand. The dog is going to react. Okay, so felines are going to react based off of fear. Canines are going to react based off of fact. Let me clarify that. But with that said, canines also have over time been trained to do as they're told, and that's not always the best thing. Animals can sense the change in the barometric pressure of the air. They can see the changes within the weather. They can see the changes within the sun, how much the sun shines down. Animals are very aware of what's going on. Y'all need to start listening. I watched a tsunami video the other day, and it talked about how the elephant ran for cover with somebody on it right before the tsunami hit. So you guys need to be cautious of how the animals behave, because how the animals behave is all you need to know. It's like seeing a whole bunch of freaking birds just flee all of a sudden in an area. Something's going to happen in that area. Could be something as simple as an accident. Could be something as big as and if you are on the coast, it could be something as big as a tsunami. Or it could just be a normal day-to-day thing. You have to know the area. You have to know the situations. You have to counter all possibilities. A lot of these problems with these scientists and all these meteorologists, their predictions are not accurate. They're flawed. And they're flawed because they believe they're better at what they do than a person who understands the earth without having stepped one foot into a school. I'm not trying to tell you shouldn't go after a career in meteorology or as a scientist. I'm telling you that if you're going to hold that title, if you're going to hold that specific degree, you best make sure that you actually have a credible, validated circumstance. So what is it? Credible, you better have a credible, valuated, circumstantiated, verifiability within the fragments of information that you create your hypothesis on. Because your hypothesis is what everybody else goes off of. And if your hypothesis is wrong, you could be creating a wisteria, or you could be creating it to make it worse. My cat freaked out. My feline just went into attack mode for no reason other than didn't like the fact that it doesn't understand. Yet my canine remains calm until necessary to act. Remember that. Felines overreact or react with fear. Canines act with fact, typically. Not all the time. This is not 100% factual. This is all circumstantiated. But canines act with majority. I should say majority. Canines act with majority of fact, whereas felines act with majority of fear. Just saying. Just in case you, as a scientist, a meteorologist, or anybody who owns a pet, or not even owns a pet, but who cares about society and the infrastructure within the canine and the feline aspects. Canines typically act out of necessity. Fact. Typically. Felines act out of fear. fear of whatever the situation may be. So, that means that canines are much more responsible than felines. And unfortunately, that is a truth that they don't like to hear. They don't like to be responsible to. And it doesn't apply to every species within that every subspecies within that species. It is a generalized belief system, a generalized consensus, but something you need to know just in case you're ever in a situation where you need to understand something. Just in talking about the tsunami that everybody's worried is going to come on the Pacific Ocean coast, my cat freaked out. Just in talking about it. Because I watched a video from the actual footage of the waves coming. Animals are sensitive as well. You need to understand that if you're going to own a pet, if you're going to partake in the care of a pet, they have feelings. They also have fears. That's what I'm just trying to say. So I'm going to get back to calming this little one down, and hopefully by the time you're done listening to this, you'll realize that maybe, just maybe, meteorologists and scientists should actually look at not just the barometric pressures of everything, and not just, I mean, there's many different things, but that is one factoid. They should look at all the key components rather than just saying, well, I'm a professional and I know this because I know this. Your research is legitimate, but your research doesn't make it a factual event based off of the inconsistencies within the hypothesis. No hypothesis is 100% unless you know the Earth. Like somebody I know who gets no credit because there's no degree behind there. It's called being Native American. We understand more than we lead on because we are part of the Earth. Because we've went through it, because we understand the Earth's pain and the fabrication that us as a species, the human beings as a species, have tried to place on the Earth so we become numb to everything. You really need to change your ways if you are not living your life to the best possible, and not if you're not engaging in the desire to make everybody's life worth living. You really need to sit down and say some prayers, and you really need to start thinking about what's important to you, because you cannot replace somebody who's gone. Once a person's gone, you cannot replace them. You have to live with wondering whether they're okay, or wondering whether they made it to heaven, or wondering whether they left with peace. I love y'all. Hopefully this information was very beneficial to y'all. Love you.